Hi guys, it's Ruthie with the Popo Backyard Farm. I'm enjoying my time on my front porch here. And one of my first jobs that I had, which I thought you guys might enjoy hearing about, I used to work for S&O Bus Lines. Now we were actually housed in the same building and kind of shared a terminal with Greyhound. It was a really neat job. Our bus just drove to the suburbs, like it would pick up business people and do short runs. And then we had another bus line, which was more like the city of Syracuse, which was Centro, which is still running. S&O is now closed. And then Greyhound was there too. Now, Centro was in a different building. So I actually worked in downtown Syracuse. At the time, I didn't even drive, but the bus would come pick me up at my house, right down the street from my house. I would take the bus all the way to work, take me an hour to get to work, and then I'd take an hour home. And what I did was I was what they call a ticket counter. All the fares that came in, I was the girl that would get those reels, like register reels, and I would add those up, and I would make sure that the driver's math was correct and that they had the fares right, which they usually were. But they would have like $1.50 for a fare, or $2.50, or 25 cents, depending on how far somebody went for the bus line. Now, what the other thing that the local bus lines do, and Greyhound does this, is they would take groups, like say a bunch of seniors would all rent a bus, or a church group, or friends, and they would like say, okay, we're all going to go to New York City. So they would call up the bus line, and then they would, every person would get a seat on the bus, and then they would take a bus someplace and come back. It was a really interesting job. One of the things that went on with that was every bus driver had to be exactly on time. They couldn't be 5 minutes late because people would miss work. They couldn't be 5 minutes early, or people couldn't get on the bus if they missed it. So it was kind of a neat thing. And now the bus that I took to work at deck was all the business people. People would be squished in like sardines. Some people would have to stand up and, on the bus. And I don't know, it was just a lot of an interesting job. And then the bus drivers, some of them would leave and do charters, meaning that they would have people that would buy the bus and do trips. But most of the guys that I worked with, um, they were like the business runs or the little runs. I did the ticket counting for them. Now, I was 18 or 19, I think, at the time, and I was a really fast worker. They told me I was the fastest ticket counter they ever had. So one of the girls there was expecting a baby, so I took her job too when she left, and she never came back. So I continued with her job, and I did like the mileage for when these guys went on these big charter runs. Like if they went 900 miles or whatever, I'd have to take a ruler at sometimes and measure. And I remember they started to teach me the computer. Now back then, we're talking like 1982 or three, they had a computer, a whole computer room. They didn't have these laptops, and you had to learn code and all that. And I did know a little bit about computers because when I went to school, me and another guy were like the computer guys, and I mean our computer was like one of the first ones, that came out. It was like they were huge. It was all code. It wasn't anything like the computers of today. So anyway, I just thought you guys might like that story. Nothing super exciting. Just basically counting fares. And we did change our building, which was kind of neat because at that time that was a big thing, because we changed our building because we used to be in a locked office in Syracuse in the Greyhound building, and then we changed our building to join the Centro, I think, and then we had security cards, which was a big thing back then. And every place we went in the building, we had to put a security card from each room to room, to get around, just because of safety and stuff. But anyway, I did work in a bus company. That was kind of a fun story. I thought you guys would enjoy it. Okay, let me know jobs that you've had, if you've ever taken the bus, what your thoughts on the buses are, and like, subscribe, and remember, big or small. You too can be a backyard farm. God bless.